Welcome to another episode of Questions with LA. I am your intrepid host, LA Marzulli, and we're getting to your questions. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Do you want to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start? Noble Gold Investments understands. Folks, we've invested with them. So, they're good people, and I'm glad we did it. Okay, investing in precious metal may sound confusing, but the team at Noble Gold Investments makes it easy. At least they did for us, and I'm sure they'll do it for you. Let's hear from actual Noble Gold Investments customers. Quote, the staff answered all my questions and helped me every step of the way, end of quote. No precious sales taxes, just honest guidance. Securing my future is less stressful thanks to Noble Gold expertise. So don't settle for financial uncertainty. They'll suggest options and see if you can diversify into gold and silver. Right now, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful bullion coin for qualified accounts. Folks, don't settle for financial uncertainty. Noble Gold Investments has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Why wait? Call now, 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Once again, 877-646-5347. I'll say one more thing, folks. We are, $33 trillion in debt? Might be time to get out of the paper money and buy some bullion. Even if it's a couple of coins, at least you've got something that's worth something. Once again, that number, 877-646-5347. Folks, if you're wanting to get a question, we're in, what are we in now? March, yes, the 19th of March. So we're actually going to do 3 shows this week because we've had such an overwhelming response. People really like the show. So what the heck? If you've got a question, shoot us an email, questions@lamarzulli.net. That's questions@lamarzulli.net. And they're questions. We're really not interested in your experience. We're interested in question. Now, if you've got a question about your experience, that's something's different. I can try to answer it. If you've got a supernatural confrontation, that's a different deal. Supernatural@lamarzulli.net. So let's jump in. And by the way, I don't have all the answers, but he does. I am suggesting you watch this video with Dutch sense, earthquakes, mudslides, alchemy. These 3 researchers get together, and it is amazing to watch their research all come together. When they got to the part about the Ohio Valley, talking about the giants and mounds, I thought, wow, LA needs to be here. I'd never seen some of the stuff they were talking about in your work, but often we talk about the long skulls, the elongated skulls as well. So anyway, this is the problem with stuff like this, and I thank you for it. This is from Janet. Janet, thanks for writing in, but this should be a question. It's not a question. Let me just see it, making sure that there's not anything in there. But thank you for thinking of us, and thank you for writing in, and all is good. Let's go to the next one. This is from Doc Lynch. Hello, LA. Thank you for your ministry, of which I've become more familiar over the last few months. I am a semi-retired pastor with a deep interest in the spiritual supernatural. I first became familiar with your works as Skywatch some years ago. Hats off to Skywatch TV. We're regulars on Prophecy Watchers. That's where we really hang our hat. I think I've been on Skywatch twice in the last 15 years. So we're on Prophecy Watchers at least 3 or 4 times a year, maybe more. My wife took the picture enclosed from our dining room window here in Milford, Connecticut, looking right at it. We live in apparently high activity area, what I would call chemtrails. I see them almost every day. I have, however, I have never seen anything like this. It appears to have some sort of funnel cloud, which I've never seen. My wife and I agreed it could be some sort of a portal where something either entered or left. I thought of sending you the pic to comment. I know you're very busy, so I thought whenever you get the time, you could look at it. Thanks for your consideration and opinion you could provide, Pastor Doc and Joan. So here's the picture right here. I'm going to zoom in on that baby. Actually, I'll have John Adam do it. I'll hold it real steady. And I would lean towards chemtrail, and I would lean towards chemtrail. The wind is blowing it, but it's hard to say. But when you get into stuff like this, it's just really hard to say. But I certainly thank you for thinking of me and writing in. This is from Marissa. Great work, LA. I was wondering if you have ever looked into high-altitude psychosis. The stories all seem like they are consistent, and here people that are at high altitude, they hear voices, music, in some cases, climb with another person that always mysteriously disappears. Either it's high-altitude demons or perhaps heavenly angels to help guide them on the mountain. Thoughts? You know, I have heard of this, Marissa. It's very strange, and I don't, you know, there's not enough information to really, to really weigh in on it. But some of the stories are very eerie. Like you talk about, they're high altitude, and all of a sudden this person like comes next to them. I'll tell you one story, which I think you will find interesting. Although it has nothing to do with high altitude. There was a gentleman a number of years ago who was street witnessing. I forget the town he was in, but they were street witnessing with about 4 people. So two gals, 2 guys, they're out on the street, very dark area. And there was this man in a trench coat who seemed to know everybody and everything on the street. People would come up to him, he would talk to them, and he was like holding court. So they went up to him and asked if they could pray for him, which of course he sort of refused, and he touched the lead guy. He touched him. And right after that, the guy was really weird. He was very pale, very tall, very skinny, wearing a black trench coat. Hybrid? Possibly. But their lives, this couple who were missionaries, they actually contacted me with a story. Their lives went downhill. And things got super strange. So they took a sabbatical from the ministry, which, by the way, is really hard to do, especially if you're in it full time, to just step away. But they had to because they were out of control. In fact, his wife almost drowned in this really freaky accident in like a foot of water on the beach. How does that work? But I digress. So they're praying, they're on sabbatical, and the Lord speaks to him. Holy Spirit speaks to the man and says, I want you to go to this high place which overlooks the city, and someone will come and heal you. Specifically those words. The guy gets in his car, drives up the mountain. Now it's not, high altitude. It's not like 10,000, 12,000 feet up, but it's up there. It's a high place in his area. And he gets to the parking lot. It's snowing. There's not another car there. There's no tracks, no footprints, nothing. It's snowing. About 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. He gets out of the car because that's what we've been told to do. And he climbs up the steps, and now he's in this park. Nobody there at all, okay? So he goes to the end, and he's way up high on this bluff, and he's looking at the city below him, and he's disappointed. He waits about 10, 15 minutes. He's disappointed. Nobody shows up. And he turns to leave, and here comes this elderly man, Kris Kringle, white hair, white beard, and this guy comes up to him and basically starts talking to him, and they exchanged names. I wish I could remember the gentleman with the white hair's name. It was an odd name. And immediately, UFO brain fog sets in and you're not sure what's going on. Well, the guy who had been touched by this entity out on the street experienced sort of brain fog. He's going like, what's going on here? And this man with the Kris Kringle look reaches out and touches him. And then they part company. So Kris Kringle guy walks to the end, and this man who's needed prayer and not sure what's going on, and he begins to walk off the mountain, and he gets to the parking lot. There's no other car. Footprints stop in the snow. They just appear out of nowhere. He thinks about going back, but he doesn't. And he realizes that the oppression has lifted. I believe that God sends his angels. I really do. And so I just want to dump back into that real quick, because you said something which triggered this story. You go, either it's high altitude demons or perhaps heavenly angels. I had an experience at Mammoth Mountain, which is at 10,000 feet. I mean, that's way up there. And that experience sort of changed my life. I believe it was an angelic encounter. The only one like that I've ever had. I think I've told you guys this before, but I'll say it again. I was at Mammoth Mountain. It was in March, so it's spring skiing. And Peggy's on another lift, and I'm on this one lift, and I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's kind of slushy. it starts icy and then gets slushy, so it's spring conditions. But there's nobody on the lift. So I'm going up to the top, skiing back down, hop on the lift, go back up, and I'm doing this over and over and over again because I love to ski. So I'm waiting in line. When I say line, there is no line. I'm just waiting for the chair to come around so I can sit in it. I hear this voice, hey, mind if I join you? I've told the story before, but a lot of you guys come here for the first time, so here it is again. So, no, not at all. This guy comes up. He's in a racing ski suit, so it's real tight leggings, real tight vest, but he's old. He's got a white beard and white hair. Kris Kringle again. Here we go. And he's got patches from all these different ski resorts all over the vest. And he looks at me and goes, how many days did you get skiing this year? And I go, 14. I'm kind of, puffing my chest out. 14. And he goes, oh, I've skied 125 days. And I just kind of look at him like, you got to be kidding me. That's essentially every day. That's basically every day except when it's snowing. This guy's out skiing. So I go, wow, that's amazing. So he goes, I guess you're still working, huh? I go, yeah, I'm still working, but I love what I do. Well, what do? I make documentary films. What are they on? The Nephilim. And I'm thinking to myself, here we go. Now he's going to ask me what the Nephilim are. He doesn't do that. He skips right over the Nephilim, okay? Skips right over that. And he goes, well, have you ever heard of itchy, like scratching, itchy boots? I go, no. Oh, she's got 1.2 million followers. And I go, wow, that's way out of my pay grade. And so we've already had strike one where he skips over the Nephilim. Strike two is coming up. He looks over at me and remember, it's a 4-seater chair. So the two seats in the middle are missing. Nobody's in them. I'm on one side, he's on the other, 2 vacancies. He reaches over his left hand, touches me on my right shoulder, and he goes, no, keep doing what you're doing, touches me again. You're on the right track, touches me a third time. You're doing the right thing. And I'm sitting there going, by this time I've got brain fog. And I'm going, how could this guy possibly know anything about me? And yet he's speaking into my life. It's like, what the heck is going on? So, I mean, that's strike two, because you don't touch people that you don't know, especially when you just get on a ski lift and it's been, 2 or 3 minutes like this? And how can he possibly say that and speak that into my life? So, I get off the chairlift and I am dazed. Literally, I'm dazed. And that night is when we came up with the Supernatural Confrontation Show. The name, the whole thing came about because of this confrontation. I believe that was an angelic encounter. It's the only one I've ever had. Okay, let's move on. This is from Linda. Dear Related work appeals to a wide variety of interests, from burial mounds, UFO sightings, crop circles and giants to megaliths and more. Wow, you're hired. Thank you for your research, testimony, and faithful sharing. Just today, I watched an excellent interview of Julie Ryder on oneheartinfo.org, Saving the Giants Playground, regarding the Giants Playground in Montana. How have you been there, and what are your thoughts about this place? They are doing construction work just across the road from this megalithic site and demolishing thing. Julie wonders why there. Okay, I get this, and let me answer this first, and then we'll go from there. I have not been to the Montana megaliths, but Tim Alberino and I did go to Sage Wall. It's on this channel. Look up Alberino or punch in Sage Wall, and we debunked it. It's a natural, Sage Wall is a natural formation. There's no doubt about it. And look at that video, because when you're there, you kind of go, oh my gosh, it reminds me of Sacsayhuaman, and there are some similarities, but the fissures in the rock stop. They're natural fissures. Someone asked that in a couple of shows back, and I basically stated on the record that that area had a 2-mile high glacier. 2-mile high glacier. That can do anything to rock. So what we see, and Tim and I are there, we're running around this site, and Gil Zimmerman is filming it. So it's really kind of a cool video. But we go to the back side of the wall. And so in the front side of the wall, it appears that you have 3 separate stones that are cut and moved together. But when you go to the back side of the wall, you don't see that. You see 1 stone. So the fissuring happened in front of the wall. There's also fissures that look like they're joints, but they're not. They're fissures in the rock. So we debunked that. I have no interest in disparaging Julie Ryder in any way, shape, or form. I did meet her when we were up filming in Montana. Tim Alberino was on that film. We were filming our Roswell film with Dr. Richard O'Connor was there, Linda Marcel was there, and of course Tim Alberino. So it was a great trip. And of course, on the way, the following day, once we were done filming, Tim and Gil and myself went out to Sagewell. And here's the bottom line. If you're in the area, you want to go and check out Sagewell. It's a mind blower. It's a great place to just take the family. It's a really cool hike. The little guys can do it, 10, 8, 6. They all can get up there and see it. And it's an amazing natural formation. So we're not disparaging the site. I'm telling you to go there if you're in the area. It's a great way to spend a morning or an afternoon, Sagewell. But is it megalithic? Absolutely not. It's a natural formation. As far as the others in Giants Playground, I have seen pictures. Until I go there, I can't weigh in on it. And again, we're not here to disparage Julie Ryder, but we are here to speak truth. And Sagewell is a natural construction. So another site I checked out, I was intrigued by your presentation about America's Stonehenge and the grid lines from there to the European sites. I was further amazed to hear that there's also an energy grid line between Giants Playground, Montana, and megalithic sites in Mexico and Peru. Fascinating. I have to check that out, but thank you. She, of course, is talking about our work. If you're interested in all, you can go check that out. It's number 5 in the On the Trail of the Nephilim series. This is the latest one, number 8 in the series. Out of Place Artifacts. Shameless plug, perfect segue. We have it. We're shipping it. You want to get this if you're into the series. It's really cool. What are these out-of-place artifacts doing? But I digress as usual. But 5, the Axis Mundi, there's a connectivity between America's Stonehenge, England, Machu Picchu, Chaco Canyon, Teotihuacan, the Canary Island pyramids, and of course the Great Pyramid of Giza. For starters. And there's some new information that we have about America's Stonehenge. We'll probably be going up there maybe in the spring to film again and maybe do some archaeological work. We'll see. But Linda, thanks so much for writing in. I really appreciate it. This is from Michael Glenn. Let me see if it's, okay, looks long. I had some very strange encounters with some type of supernatural creatures or beings in an apartment. I lived in Casper, Wyoming in 2017. This was the apartment that an old Catholic priest had lived in and passed away in. Well, here goes the first encounter. I was sitting in the living room playing my guitar around 1:30 in the morning. No, in the afternoon, facing the north wall. My entry door was on the east side of the apartment. When out of the corner of my eye, some type of blue light was coming through the door. I turned to get a better look, and it came into the apartment, moving slowly towards me. It was floating about 3 feet off the floor. It had dark to light, transparent, beautiful snake-like body. Whoa. About 1 foot around, just floating in the air. And it got about 1 foot in front of me and stopped and was looking straight at me. It had a face with dark eyes, and its mouth was moving like it was trying to talk to me. It was trying to tell me something, but I could not hear anything. I told it, I can't hear you. What are you trying to say to me? What do you want? But still no sound, but it kept moving its mouth. So I tried to touch it, but it would not let me, and it would just back off and bounce up and down. I think it was getting mad at me. Well, this lasted about half an hour, then it backed out the door and was gone. I still don't know what that thing was and what it wanted. I have told the story to other people, and they think that I am crazy. But I saw this thing for real. I'll never forget it until the day I die. But that was not the end of this. It came back a week later, and the same thing happened. I would just like to know what this thing was. Has anyone had the same thing happen to them? This is not the only thing that happened in the apartment. There's a lot more. Sounds like maybe the priest was doing some nasty stuff in there. Perhaps he opened up a gateway. He opened up a portal. I would say that this was some kind of a demonic entity. It certainly wasn't angelic. Whether it's not, it's a disembodied spirit of a Nephilim. Certainly seems like it. Snake-like body, that's sort of a giveaway. Remember this, folks. If you have anything like that, the mistake number one for this gentleman, in my opinion, is he engages it for half an hour. Rebuke first, ask questions later. Rebuke first in the name of Jesus. Ask questions later. This is from Sean. L.A., thank you for what you do. I love your ministry. Well, thank you, sir. I've only been a fan for a few years because it was only during that time I was introduced to you from a YouTube video that autoplayed after a Chuck Missler video. I miss Chuck. He was a mentor. But I'm so grateful I did. I used to have all the same questions I hear you talk about after getting saved. Why would God have Joshua slaughter everyone? Does that say what I think it says? Angels hooked up with human women. Anyway, I would ask people in authority in church or bring it up at Bible studies and get the same lame response you say you did. And I think, and I would think, is it just me? So thank you. My question is, have you seen the petroglyph of what looks like it could be a good representation of the Ark of the Covenant in the Petrified Forest in Arizona? I'll enclose a picture of it. It is an Anasazi site right in the middle of the park, right off the main drive. A few years ago, I saw it on an episode of American Earth with Scotty Walter. That was the question of a show. Is this the Ark of the Covenant? But ever since I watched one of your videos, and there was an artifact that said, "We are those who fled from Joshua, the son of Nun," or something to that effect. That artifact, there was a stele on the coast of North Africa, and Mando Gonzalez was the first person to clue me in on this. And we are they who fled from the face of Joshua the robber, the son of Nun. What's that doing there? And Procopius, the historian, recorded what he discovered on that stele. There was a Western migration. They came over to the New World. Did they do something with the Ark? They probably saw the Ark, because remember, Joshua and Caleb have the Ark of the Covenant, and they're going into the Promised Land at this time, because the Ark was with them. And just so you know, let me just weigh in on something. I want to thank Bob Ulrich for giving me this. It's really Los Angeles, but it says LA. It's really a cool mug. Thanks, Bob. But he got it because there's my initials, LA, and so I use this cup fondly. And the seed word in Genesis 3:15 tells us that the seed of the dragon will be at war and enmity with the seed of the woman. From the seed of the woman will come the proto-evangelion, the Messiah. So by the time we get to the conquest of Canaan, it's thousands of years after that statement. That's made by Jesus in the garden, Genesis 3:15. It's the key to our Bibles. If we don't understand that, if we have faulty exegesis of it, good luck when you get to the Promised Land, because you'll never understand what's going on. But I digress. Here's the deal. At this moment in time, when Joshua and Caleb are getting ready to go into the Promised Land, it is the full-blown seed war to the nines. Both generals are waiting. The Nephilim are on the earth. They are on the field of battle. They are. The Zanzumim, the Emims, the Nephilim, the Anakim, the Rephaim, they're all there. And then you get what? You get the 12 tribes of Israel. Full-blown, because they're all from Abraham's seed. So it's been 400 years, and now we've got 12 tribes. But the enemy still doesn't know which tribe Messiah will come from, doesn't know yet. It's there in Scripture, but he doesn't know. And, of course, once Jesus is born, all hell breaks loose. The bottom line is this. They are on the field of battle. This is the seed war manifesting in ways that we have never seen it before or afterward. On the field of battle, you've got the seed of the dragon, the different Nephilim tribes. Coming into the Promised Land, you've got the 12 tribes of Israel. Unbelievable. We will be going to where the cursed tablet was found, Mount Ebal. Cursed, cursed, cursed. Cursed of Yahweh. You will die cursed. Cursed, cursed, cursed. I will be lecturing on that altar there, because I honestly believe that it's Joshua's altar, that is not for Israel. And that's my personal opinion. I realize I am completely biased in this because it's Nephilim that you're looking at in the Promised Land. I believe that curse is a curse not to the people of Israel. You will die cursed. I believe that is to the inhabitants of the land, because the Nephilim are cursed by Yahovah. So I'll say it again. Cursed, cursed, cursed. Cursed of Yahweh. You will die cursed. Cursed, cursed, cursed. It's unbelievable. Then he says, it has always puzzled me about, but could it be saying the ant people fled from those with this box or from this box? A message from the Anasazi about who or where the ant people came from. The petroglyphs are really hard in some ways to decipher unless you're with a First Nation people who can help decipher some of what we're looking at. Some of them are pretty straight ahead, others not so much. Anyway, thanks so much for writing in. Remember, questions at lamarzulli.net, questions at lamarzulli.net. We are doing 3 question shows. Why? Because I've asked a question, how many people like the show, and a lot of you jumped on and said, man, we wanted to see maybe 2 or 3 shows. So we're doing 3 shows this week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be all questions. And if you've got a question, keep them pithy. You know, I get it. Sometimes we need a backstory, but just keep them short, and that way we can get to more questions. So once again, folks, we've got them. We're mailing them out. On a Trail of Nephilim, Out of Place Artifacts. I will be talking a little bit about that. We have our books in further evidence. Let me just give you just a taste of what is in this book. We reprinted it. I got held up in the briars, and that's when I looked up and saw it. It made no noise. The trees didn't move or the leaves blow away. Ricky Sorrell's Stevensville Lights. I went into a sort of a shock tailspin as I realized that the abductions were real. I said to myself, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, repeatedly for about 6 months, Dr. David Jacobs. They had me on a cold steel table. How many times have we heard that? And used different tools to do a variety of different procedures to me. Karina Sables. They were feathers, 2 wings that came out to points. His eyes were sunk into his head. He had what looked like a robe that went down to his hips. Lawrence Gray on Seeing the Mothman. Here it is, folks. Further evidence, we have it, and you can go to lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net. So here's the deal. We're headed on Thursday out to the Prophecy Watchers Conference. Can't wait to see all of you for that. And then Friday, I will be speaking twice, once in the morning right before lunch, and I'm the last speaker that evening, so I can go long in both cases, and I probably will. One will be on cattle mutilations. The other will be from the up-and-coming book that should be released early next year, The Rungs of a Ladder of Disclosure. So I'll be talking about that. I'll also be giving just a little update on out-of-place artifacts. We'll be talking about the Vatican obelisk. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see you back here on Wednesday with another Questions for LA.